Last chance. Archangel Michael and Jesus say, "Don't scroll. This message is reaching you for a reason. Please stay with me for just 15 seconds. My child, listen closely, my dear one, because even in the echo of dramatic words there is a softer truth waiting to find you. What reached you may have felt like a shout, but beneath that surface is a whisper meant to calm your spirit, not tighten your chest. You are not standing on the edge of losing anything sacred, and heaven does not bargain with your heart. Instead, you are being invited into a moment of stillness, a moment where reassurance rises slowly like morning light. If your heart softens even slightly, stay with me, because something gentle is arriving. You've carried messages before that stirred anxiety rather than peace, and your body knows the difference. Feel the contrast now. Panic sharpens the breath, but reassurance loosens the shoulders and warms the space behind your ribs. When Archangel Michael draws near, there is a sense of protection that never demands, never rushes, never threatens. When Jesus speaks to the quiet places within you, his words settle like a hand over your trembling thoughts. Their presence is constant, not conditional, and this moment is simply an open doorway, never a countdown. Let yourself breathe once, slowly, and notice how the fear begins to separate from the truth. Dramatic titles catch the eye, but love catches the soul, and love does not insist you stay out of terror. You are here because something in you recognized a familiar chord, something that felt like guidance turning your chin toward hope. This is not about urgency, it is about alignment. It is about remembering that reassurance often appears in surprising shapes, even wrapped in intensity that was never meant for you to carry alone. As you listen, feel the quiet invitation unfolding. You are being reminded that you have never been abandoned in your searching, not for a single breath. Heaven does not give you ultimatums, it gives you nudges, gentle illuminations, soft confirmations that you are held more deeply than you know. And so this moment becomes less about last chances, and more about renewed permission to rest, to release the storyline of fear, to let peace return to the center of your being. Stay with me just a little longer, my beloved child, because the path ahead is smoothing beneath your feet even as you listen. There is clarity forming at the edges of your awareness, and soon you'll recognize it by the peace that greets you first. Let this be a beginning, not a warning. Let this be a quiet turning toward the guidance that has always walked with you, surrounding you with patience, strength, and a love that never withdraws. Feel how your breath softens as you imagine that love resting beside you now, steady and unwavering. You are learning to listen without fear and to receive without tension, allowing reassurance to rise gently within. Stay open, for peace is moving toward you in ways your heart is ready to recognize. Come a little closer, my dear one, and let the noise of the world rest outside this moment. You've been carrying so many thoughts at once that your mind has started to echo with them, but right now you are invited into a softer space. Before any guidance can be heard, your spirit needs room to breathe. So let this be a gentle pause, a doorway into stillness, where your heart can settle and your shoulders can finally release what they've been holding. Take a slow breath in, not to perform, not to impress, but simply to feel the weight inside you loosen. Let the air move down into your chest, warming the place where your worries have been sitting. And as you exhale, imagine the noise draining out of your mind like fading ripples on water. You don't need to silence everything, You only need to soften enough for peace to slip through. Even now, notice how the space around you changes when you choose to breathe with intention. Feel your shoulders drop a little more. Feel your jaw unclench. Feel your stomach loosen. These are not small shifts, they are holy ones. They are the first signs that your spirit is entering a posture where divine guidance can actually be received. Noise shouts. Stillness listens. And you, beloved, are learning the language of quiet again. Let yourself lean into it. Let yourself be held inside it. Another slow breath. In and release. With each exhale, imagine a gentle light settling in your chest, warm and steady, as if heaven itself placed a candle there. This warmth is your anchoring point. Return to it whenever the world pulls too loudly. Return to it when you feel scattered or overwhelmed. Return to it now, letting it expand just enough that you can feel the edges of your heart soften. This softened state is not weakness, it is alignment. It is the clearing of inner pathways so that what is meant for you can reach you without distortion. Guidance rarely arrives through tension. It arrives through openness, through the quiet space between breaths, through the steady calm that rises when you choose presence over pressure. You are stepping into that calm now, gently, slowly, beautifully. Stay here for one more breath with me. Feel how stillness begins to gather around you like a comforting cloak, drawing you inward toward a place of deeper listening. In this softened quiet, you're preparing to hear what has been trying to reach you with love, clarity, and peace. And from this stillness, the next part of your journey will unfold with greater ease. You've softened into this quiet, my dear one, and now the truth you've been carrying beneath your breath begins to rise. There is a reason your heart feels tender, a reason your spirit feels stretched, and I want you to feel seen inside every part of it. For so long, you have been moving through your days with a strength that others rarely notice, and yet inside you, there has been a trembling you couldn't quite name. You have wondered if anyone, even heaven, understood the weight you carry when the lights are off and the world stops asking things of you. Let me tell you gently, you are not unseen. You've tried to be patient in seasons that felt endless. You've tried to smile when your chest felt hollow. You've tried to hold on to hope even when it slipped like water through your fingers. You've waited for clarity that didn't come, for signs that felt delayed, for prayers that seemed to echo back in silence. And still, something in you kept going, even when you questioned your own resilience. You've wondered why your path has felt so tangled, why relationships faded right when you started to trust, why opportunities slipped away just as you reached for them. You've wondered if you misheard heaven, if you missed something important, if you were somehow left behind. You've wondered if the quiet meant absence, or if the delays meant denial. And you've wondered most of all whether your heart would ever feel steady again. You felt the fatigue in your bones, a tiredness deeper than sleep can touch. The kind of tired that comes from carrying invisible burdens, from caring so deeply without knowing where to place your hands. Some days you've moved through life on autopilot, answering messages, fulfilling responsibilities, while inside you whispered, I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying. That whisper has been a prayer, even if you didn't realize it. And yet, beloved, even in those moments when you felt lost, you were never wandering beyond the reach of love. There were eyes upon you, gentle, patient, aware. There were hands around you, steady, protective, unseen. You speak of feeling lost, but heaven speaks of you as guided. You describe confusion, but heaven sees a soul in process, a heart unfolding, a journey being shaped with more care than you have known. What if the silence has not been neglect, but preparation? What if the waiting has not been punishment, but alignment? What if the tangled path has been weaving you into strength, compassion, and discernment so that you would recognize real peace when it arrives? Let that question linger for a moment. Let it soften the edge of your worry. This is the open loop your spirit has been circling around, the deeper meaning behind your long season of uncertainty. Because the truth is this: you have not been wandering in darkness, you have been walking through a sacred transition. Every moment of confusion has been shaping your capacity to receive. Every disappointment has been redirection. Every silence has been a clearing of the noise that once drowned out your intuition. And every time you chose to keep moving, even with trembling hands, heaven whispered, "I see you. Stay with me, my dear one, because what has felt unclear is beginning to reveal its purpose, and the next movement of your journey is drawing closer than you realize." Now, as you stand within the soft glow of being seen, let us turn toward something your heart has struggled to understand: the waiting. The pauses, the detours, the moments that felt like doors closing just as you reached them. My dear one, these have not been signs of abandonment but signs of choreography, the quiet movements of divine timing arranging what your eyes could not yet discern. Delay is not denial, it is the careful gathering of threads before the weaving begins. When heaven prepares a path, it does so with intention, not haste. Think of your life as a tapestry still forming, each thread guided by hands that see the whole pattern long before you glimpse even a corner. When something you wanted slipped away, it was not because you were unworthy, but because the weave was not ready to hold that color. When a delay stretched longer than you expected, it was because one more stitch of protection was needed. Archangel Michael does not rush your steps, he shields them. Jesus does not push you forward, he walks beside you with a patience that honors your unfolding. Every time you felt held back, you were being redirected toward alignment rather than confusion. What you called stagnation was often a pause placed for your safety, a moment when unseen guidance stepped between you and something that would have scattered your spirit. Heaven's timing is not linear, it is layered, like a path that rises only when your foot is ready to meet it. You have been protected from premature yes and from doors that would have led you into storms you were never meant to weather. And in those moments when you wish things would hurry, when impatience tugged at you like a restless wind, heaven remained steady. Divine timing does not bend to fear. It bends to purpose. It listens to the deeper rhythm of your growth, your healing, your becoming. Archangel Michael stands guard not only over what enters your life but also over what is held back until it can meet you with blessing rather than burden. Jesus waits with you, not watching the clock but watching your heart, guiding you into readiness without pressure or ultimatum. Imagine now that each delay you've endured has been a gentle hand on your shoulder saying not yet, not because you are forgotten but because you are treasured. Imagine that every detour has been a turn toward steadier ground. There is choreography here, a quiet orchestration moving beneath the surface of your days. And though you may not yet see the full pattern, you are walking within it. Divine timing is never careless. It arrives like dawn, not rushed, not forced, but inevitable in its unfolding. So, my beloved child, let your heart loosen around the idea that you have been delayed. You have been prepared, protected, and placed with extraordinary care. What seemed like slowness was a shield. What felt like withholding was wisdom. And what looked like detour was a path curving toward alignment. Trust that heaven moves with you, not ahead of you, not behind you, but beside you with unwavering love. Stay open, for the very timing that once confused you is becoming the timing that will carry you into clarity and peace now. As your understanding of divine timing softens, another layer begins to reveal itself, one that has been shimmering around you far longer than you realized. You've noticed small things, numbers repeating on a clock, a song appearing at the exact moment your heart whispered a question, a dream that lingered with a strange tenderness. These moments may have felt random, but my dear one, they are part of a sacred pattern woven gently into your days. They are not commands or warnings, they are invitations. They arrive not to rush you, but to remind you that you are guided even when the path feels quiet. Think of the times you've seen 1111 or 555 without seeking them. Think of how your breath paused for just a moment, as if some part of you recognized a touch from beyond the veil. Or that moment when a song you hadn't heard in years suddenly appeared, carrying words that felt written for your exact question. Or the dream that felt more like a conversation than a story, leaving a warmth in your chest long after waking. These are not accidents, they are gentle affirmations that heaven is closer than you think. But remember this, true signs never create anxiety. They do not demand interpretation. They do not pressure you to figure everything out at once. A real sign brings peace first, meaning second. You'll feel it as a subtle softening in your body, a steadiness beneath your ribs, a sense of quiet recognition. If a moment leaves you tense or confused, release it. Heaven does not speak through panic. Heaven speaks through resonance, through what feels like a calm yes rising from within. And as you move through your days, stay open but unburdened. You do not need to chase signs or collect them like proof. You do not need to decode every symbol or count every number. Let them come as they always have, naturally, gently, without force. Let them be like feathers drifting into your awareness, small but unmistakably placed. They are reminders, not assignments. Confirmations, not puzzles. Picture yourself noticing a sign in the days ahead. Maybe it's a sequence of numbers glowing on your phone. Maybe it's a phrase in a conversation that feels like it was placed there for you. Maybe it's a sudden memory that brings clarity. When it happens, feel for the peace before the meaning. If peace arrives first, you'll know the message is aligned with you. If the meaning unfolds later, trust that it will do so without pressure. This is how guidance moves, softly, steadily, with love. These subtle affirmations are heaven's way of keeping you company on the path, especially when the larger pieces have not yet moved into place. They whisper you are not walking alone. They remind you that even when circumstances appear still, the unseen realm is communicating in its own delicate language, shaping moments to meet you with reassurance. So stay open, my dear one. Not watchful with tension, but receptive with ease. Signs are not rare, They are simply easier to recognize when your heart is calm enough to feel them. And in that calm, you will notice the gentle rhythm of alignment unfolding around you, guiding you forward in ways your spirit will understand long before your mind catches up. Now that you've begun to recognize the gentle ways heaven speaks, it's time to remember something just as important. Not every voice that reaches you deserves your trust. My dear one, true divine guidance is never frantic, never forceful, never manipulative. It does not shake you into obedience or frighten you into action. It comes as calm clarity, as steady reassurance, as a warmth that expands rather than a tightness that constricts. This is where discernment becomes your shield, your compass, and your quiet protector. If it brings fear, pause. If it brings pressure, pause. If it brings peace, proceed. Let these words settle into your body like a rhythm you can return to at any moment. Your spirit already knows the difference. Panic rushes your breath, but peace slows it. Pressure tightens your shoulders, but peace loosens them. Confusion clouds your thoughts, but peace draws them into focus. These are the cues your body whispers, the ones that help you distinguish between noise and guidance. Too often you've questioned your own intuition, wondering if the unease you felt was you being dramatic or ungrateful. But unease is valuable. Unease is information. Unease is your soul tugging your sleeve saying this is not for you. Divine guidance never bulldozes your boundaries. It never overrides your consent. It never asks you to shrink, rush, or surrender your safety. Archangel Michael guards you through intuition, through a sudden heaviness that stops you from moving forward. Jesus guides you through gentleness, through the soft conviction that whispers look again, breathe again, wait for peace. Practice listening to the way your body responds. When a message arrives that feels urgent, ask yourself, is this urgency rooted in love or in fear? When a sign appears and your mind tries to force meaning, ask, does this bring expansion or contraction? When someone speaks spiritual language but something feels off, ask, does my spirit settle or recoil? Your body is not separate from your discernment. It is part of the divine instrument through which clarity is revealed. And remember, beloved, that discernment is not a test you must pass. It is a gift meant to protect you. You are allowed to question. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to wait until your heart feels aligned. Heaven will never punish you for choosing safety. The right messages wait for your readiness. The right paths remain steady until you step onto them. The right guidance echoes with peace each time you return to it. If it brings fear, pause. If it brings pressure, pause. If it brings peace, proceed. Let this become your sacred filter. Let it guard your heart from false urgency and guide you toward what is truly meant for you. And as you move forward with this clarity, your steps will feel steadier, your choices lighter, and your heart more anchored in the quiet confidence that authentic guidance always aligns with your well-being and your peace. Now that discernment has settled into your spirit, let us turn toward the small, tender actions that help you stay aligned. You don't need grand rituals or elaborate routines to reconnect with the divine. In truth, my dear one, it is the smallest moments that often open the widest doors. When life feels overwhelming, the path back to peace is almost always found through simple steps, not sweeping changes. A single soft moment can shift the entire tone of your day, and these micro-practices are here to guide you gently into that shift. Begin with one slow breath. Not a dramatic inhale, not something forced, just a natural, spacious breath that reminds your body you are safe. As you breathe in, imagine a quiet light filling the center of your chest. As you exhale, let the tightness drain from your shoulders. This simple breath prayer can be as short as one sentence whispered in your heart: I welcome peace. Let it settle into you like warm sunlight spreading beneath your ribs. Another practice is the 30-second pause. Place your hand over your chest, feel the rise and fall beneath your palm, and ask one question: what does my spirit need right now? You don't have to search for the answer. Often it will rise on its own, a word, a sensation, a soft pull toward rest or clarity. This tiny pause invites your intuition back into the conversation, even on your busiest days. If your mind feels cluttered, try a brief journal whisper. Just write one line, not a full page, not a full thought, just one line that names what your heart is experiencing. I feel hopeful. I feel tired. I feel in between. When you name your experience, you reclaim space within it. This is how overwhelm loosens its grip, not through perfection, but through presence. And then there is the stillness moment, a practice as gentle as closing your eyes for 5 breaths and listening, not to the noise around you, but to the quiet beneath it. Notice the subtle shift inside your body when you give yourself permission to pause. Maybe your hands relax. Maybe your breath deepens. Maybe your thoughts soften their edges. These sensory anchors are signals that you are returning to yourself. Remember, beloved, reconnection does not come from doing more, it comes from doing less with intention. These small practices are invitations, not obligations. They open the inner door where peace has been waiting for you. And as you let these gentle moments weave through your day, you'll begin to feel how easily calm finds its way back into your spirit, guiding you toward what is next with quiet assurance. As you begin weaving these small moments of reconnection into your days, a quiet transformation starts to take shape within you. You may not notice it all at once, but something in your spirit begins to settle, like water clearing after being stirred. This is how the shift arrives, not as a sudden jolt or a dramatic sign, but as a softening, a returning, a steadying. You are being guided into a future where clarity comes with calm rather than urgency, where decisions no longer feel like cliffs but like gently opening paths. Imagine this with me now. You wake one morning, and before your mind begins its usual race, you feel a subtle ease in your chest. The old dread that once greeted you has quieted, replaced by a grounded stillness. Your thoughts move more slowly, no longer tumbling over each other. And when a question rises, what should I do next? You feel yourself breathing first rather than panicking. This is the new steadiness forming within you, the one divine timing has been shaping beneath every delay. In the days ahead, clarity will visit you not with pressure but with presence. It will feel like a hand resting lightly on your back, guiding without pushing. You may find yourself drawn to a certain choice, a certain conversation, a certain opportunity, and the pull will feel natural rather than frantic. When the door opens, you will feel the quiet yes first, the unmistakable warmth that spreads through your body before your mind even understands why. Peace will lead the way, and meaning will follow. Picture yourself encountering a moment that once overwhelmed you. Instead of spiraling, you pause. You breathe. You listen to the calm beneath the surface. And in that pause, something becomes clear, not because you forced an answer, but because you allowed space for the answer to rise. This is the shift, the movement from reacting to responding, from fear to trust, from scattered energy to inner alignment. The restoration forming for you has not yet revealed its full shape, but you can already feel its approach. It glimmers at the edge of your awareness like morning light pressing softly through curtains. You may not know exactly what will change, but you sense something is preparing, aligning, drawing near. And this quiet knowing brings more comfort than certainty ever could. What is coming carries benevolence, protection, and purpose. Stay with this feeling for a moment, the calm anticipation, the steady breath, the soft inner glow. This is your spirit recognizing the path ahead even before it becomes visible. Trust the peace that is emerging within you. Trust the gentle signals that guide your steps. And trust that the unfolding future is meeting you with a grace that will reveal its blessing in perfect time. Imagine, my dear one, a quiet morning that begins like any other. The sky is a muted gold, and the air feels gentle against your skin. You move through your home slowly, still half wrapped in sleep, expecting the familiar heaviness to settle on your chest. But instead, there is a surprising lightness, a soft and steady calm that seems to meet you before any thought can rise. Nothing dramatic has happened, yet something within you feels subtly restored, as if a long-held weight has loosened during the night. You make your tea or coffee, holding the warm cup between your palms, and notice that your breath comes easier. The worries that once pressed against your ribs feel quieter, less insistent. It's not that everything in your life has resolved itself, but your relationship to the uncertainty has shifted. Where there was collapse, there is now a sense of renewal gently unfolding, like petals opening in their own time. You feel a warmth in your chest, not loud or overwhelming, just steady enough to remind you that healing often arrives softly. Later in the day, you think of someone you've been distant from, someone whose absence once ached sharply. Instead of the familiar sting, you feel compassion rising within you. Not a forced forgiveness, not a decision made from pressure, but a natural softening. You imagine what it would be like to speak with them again, not to rewind the past but to honor the growth that has taken place in both of you. And while you make no promises to yourself, the simple ability to imagine this without pain feels like a kind of quiet miracle. As the afternoon unfolds, you find yourself drawn to something you used to love, a hobby, a dream, a forgotten desire. You open the old journal, or dust off the instrument, or revisit the idea you once tucked away. There is no rush, no urgency, only curiosity. The spark that once dimmed now flickers gently, reminding you that purpose doesn't disappear, it only waits for the heart to be ready again. Renewal is not a sudden blaze but a tender returning. And when evening comes, you step outside for a moment. The air is cool, the world hushed. You tilt your face toward the sky, feeling a sense of companionship you can't quite explain. It feels like being held, like being guided, like being gently encouraged to trust the unfolding path. Nothing grand has changed, yet everything feels touched by grace. This is what restoration can feel like. Not a promise, not a prediction, but a possibility woven with hope and tenderness. A life that once felt fractured beginning to mend, one soft moment at a time. As you hold the image of gentle restoration in your heart, let us ground that feeling into a rhythm you can return to day by day. Lasting peace doesn't arrive through a single breakthrough but through steady, compassionate practice. When your efforts are scattered, your spirit feels stretched thin, but when your practices are steady, even small ones, you begin to build an inner foundation that supports you through every season. This is how discernment, peace, and alignment become part of your lived reality rather than fleeting moments. Begin with one moment of peace each morning. It doesn't need to be long. Sit at the edge of your bed, place your hand over your heart, and let yourself breathe slowly. One moment of peace can shape the tone of your entire day, reminding your body that calm is a home you can return to. The consistency matters far more than the length. Then, allow one step of clarity to guide you throughout the day. This might be choosing a gentle response instead of a rushed one, or giving yourself permission to pause before making a decision. It might be noticing the tug of your intuition and listening with curiosity rather than doubt. Each small step builds trust in your inner guidance and strengthens the steadiness forming within you. And take one breath of trust whenever the world becomes loud. A single breath can reset your nervous system, interrupt spiraling thoughts, and remind you that you are not moving through life alone. This breath is not about perfection, it is about remembering your connection to the divine, even in ordinary moments. As the days and weeks unfold, notice signs lightly. Let them be gentle nudges, not assignments. When 11:11 appears or a familiar song finds you, simply receive it with gratitude and ease. Let it affirm your alignment without demanding interpretation. This light touch keeps your spirit open without tipping into overwhelm. Strengthen your boundaries with the same gentleness. A boundary is not a wall, it is a doorway that ensures only what brings peace can enter. Choose what conversations you engage in, what energies you allow near your heart, what commitments you say yes to. Each boundary is an act of clarity, a way of telling the world and yourself that your well-being matters. Over days and weeks, these small practices weave together into something resilient and beautiful. One moment of peace. One step of clarity. One breath of trust. Let these become the rhythm of your unfolding, carrying you steadily toward a life where alignment is not a rare experience but a daily companion. As you stand here within this unfolding sense of clarity, take a gentle look back at how your journey has shifted. It began in a place where fear whispered too loudly, where urgency tangled itself around your thoughts, where you felt lost even while trying your best to stay steady. But slowly, tenderly, something inside you began to change. What once felt heavy now feels lighter. What once felt confusing now holds hints of meaning. You have been moving from fear to peace, from doubt to quiet assurance, from feeling alone to feeling guided. Remember the moments when panic sat at the center of your chest, convincing you that everything depended on your next move. Now feel the contrast, the growing sense of being anchored, grounded, held. Lost versus guided. Anxious versus anchored. Rushed versus aligned. These aren't just words, they are reflections of the shift occurring within you. You didn't force this change. You allowed it, breath by breath, as you opened yourself to stillness, discernment, and the gentle language of signs. Think back to the early days when delays felt like rejection. When silence felt like absence. When unanswered questions felt like closed doors. You carried so much uncertainty then, wondering if you had been overlooked. But as you leaned deeper into quiet moments, you began to feel something different, protection rather than abandonment, timing rather than denial, guidance rather than emptiness. What once felt like a pause designed to frustrate you has revealed itself as a pause designed to shield you. And the signs that once felt random, those repeating numbers, those unexpected songs, those soft dreams, they've woven themselves into a reassuring pattern. Not a puzzle to solve, not a map demanding perfection, but a presence reminding you that heaven stands near. The open loop around synchronicities has gently closed. Now you know that real signs bring peace before interpretation. You've learned to listen with your body, with your breath, with the calm beneath your thoughts. You've learned to release what tightens your spirit and follow what expands it. Consider the practices you embraced: one moment of peace, one step of clarity, one breath of trust. These small movements have made room for something larger inside you. Your boundaries have strengthened. Your intuition has softened into confidence. Your days carry a steadier rhythm, and your nights hold more ease than before. You are no longer moving through life as someone bracing for impact, but as someone slowly aligning with grace. Feel into that truth now. You have already begun. The shift is not a future event, it is a present unfolding. You have walked from the noise into the quiet, from confusion into discernment, from collapse into renewal. And though the journey continues, you carry within you the unmistakable signs of transformation. What once felt like fear's territory now belongs to peace, and that peace is guiding you forward with a gentleness that will continue to reveal its strength in the days ahead. My dear one, linger here with me for a moment longer, in this quiet space you've created within yourself. You've traveled through fear, confusion, soft revelation, and growing peace, and now it is time to gather everything you've received into a blessing that settles deep in your spirit. Let your shoulders ease. Let your breath deepen. Let your heart open just enough to feel the warmth that has been surrounding you from the beginning. You are not ending this journey alone. You are stepping forward with guidance that walks beside you like a steady, unbroken light. As you breathe, imagine Jesus drawing near, not rushing, not demanding, simply arriving with that familiar gentleness that softens the tight places inside you. Feel the quiet compassion in His presence, the way it steadies the rhythm of your thoughts. He looks at you with understanding that reaches beneath every mask you've worn. There is no judgment here, only love meeting you exactly where you stand. And in that love, a blessing begins to form, warm as sunrise against your skin. Now imagine Archangel Michael standing at your other side, calm and protective, his presence a shield woven from strength and peace. Not a shield of fear, not a barrier against the world, but a grounding assurance that you are supported more deeply than you have known. His wings are not symbols of distance from you, they are symbols of closeness, reminders that heaven's guardians do not abandon you in your uncertainty. They remain, steadfast and patient, moving with you through every unfolding moment. In this sacred companionship, let these words settle over you: you are guided. You are held. You are understood. You are never alone, not even in the quiet hours when your thoughts turn heavy. You belong to a love that does not withdraw when you falter. You belong to a grace that rises to meet you again and again. You belong to a path that opens gently, step by step, in perfect time. Isolation fades in the presence of genuine connection, and that connection extends beyond the unseen realm. There is a community of hearts walking this same path, hearts seeking peace, hearts learning discernment, hearts discovering their own quiet yes. If you feel called, you are welcome to join this circle by sharing your prayer request, your gratitude, or simply a word that reflects what touched you today. Your voice matters here. Your story matters here. When you speak, someone else will recognize a piece of their own journey and feel less alone. And if this message wrapped itself around you, you are invited to stay connected. You can reach out again, return to this space whenever your spirit needs grounding, or simply linger in the comments where others gather with kindness. Each connection is a thread weaving a larger tapestry of comfort and belonging, one created by souls who value peace over pressure and authenticity over perfection. So as you prepare to step back into your day or into your night, receive this blessing fully. May peace settle into the corners of your mind. May clarity rise within your heart. May courage steady your steps. May the warmth of Jesus surround you with compassion, and may the protection of Archangel Michael rest gently over your path. May you feel the presence of love in the quiet moments, guiding you toward the next soft unfolding of your journey. Take one more breath, beloved. One breath of peace. One breath of trust. One breath of belonging. And carry it with you as light that you are never walking alone now.